Could the Chicago Bears be forced into doing hard knocks? Something George McCaskey just isn't for? We'll talk a little bit about that. Plus, DJ Moore says he wants to spend the rest of his career as a Chicago Bear. Or did he? We're going to talk about those two topics plus the mailbag right after this.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bears Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bears news and content.
What's going on, Bears fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bears Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bears related. I'm the host, Tara Hayes, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Chi Bears Central on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that being said, let's go ahead and get to the content for today. And so the Bears are one of three teams that could be forced into doing hard knocks. That's them, the Denver Broncos, and the New Orleans Saints. And this is something that the Bears could have been forced to do last season as well, but they kind of avoided. And George McCaskey very much so made his voice known on the fact that he did not. He doesn't like cameras. That's just what it boils down to. McCaskey does not like cameras, and they want to try to avoid with. I think last year the direct quote was, well, there's 31 other teams. I think that came from George. But when it comes down to it, when you look at it, the formula that the NFL and HBO use is that it has to be teams without a first-year coach, teams that have made the playoffs in the last 2 years, and teams that have done hard knocks the last decade or so can say no. Teams can volunteer as well as that, but if you don't fit that criteria, you can be forced to be on hard knocks. And this is something that I don't know how much longer the Bears are going to be able to avoid it. And the reason why I say that is this. The Bears have one of the most interesting scenarios and stories right now around the NFL. When you look at the stuff going on with Justin Fields and the number one overall pick, and either way, like the storyline that could come into Hard Knocks on, either you have this new rookie quarterback, right? Or you have this quarterback in Justin Fields that a lot of people think you should have moved on from. How does that build up? You have a coach in Matt Eberflus who there's doubt around, a new offensive coordinator, DJ Moore, either trade package that you got back for the number one overall pick. There's so many storylines around the Chicago Bears, and the fact that we have not been in the playoffs since 2020, that I do think that the Bears being forced to potentially do hard knocks could just be something that is just good ratings for HBO and the NFL in that partnership, and they may force the Bears to do it. And so if the Bears are forced to let cameras come into Hallis Hall, that would be one of the craziest things that we've seen from a team that really just does not like having cameras around. So, listen, I don't want to make a bigger deal of it than what it really is, right? But I do think that because it is something that George McCaskey is just completely against, if the Bears are forced to do it, to see how they react to that is going to be something that's crazy. So, we'll end up seeing what happens when it comes down to it, man. Let me know what you guys think. I said it last year when the Bears had the chance of being forced. I would not mind seeing now the way that last season with the Allen Williams stuff. So, I mean, but the cameras would have been out of it by then. But like, it just everything that goes into it, I wouldn't mind seeing Hard Knocks be around the Chicago Bears. I think there's enough going around. We have personalities on the team with Jaquan Brisker, Justin Fields, or whoever the new quarterback is. If we do move on from that, DJ Moore is a big personality as well. So like, having those players that could be a part of that, I think would be a fun watch, and maybe even turn some eyes and make some more awareness to who the Chicago Bears are as a franchise, either good or bad. So let me know what you guys think on the potential of the Chicago Bears being forced to do hard knocks and George McCaskey's reluctance to want to let cameras come into Hallis Hall. Let me know what you guys think on all that down below. Now, we got a quote yesterday from DJ Moore that a lot of people have taken it now and ran with it. You'll see a lot of headlines. DJ Moore wants to retire a Chicago Bear. Well, the direct quote is this: I would like to do at least 5 years here and then maybe retire here. That's always the goal. Now, that is a much different quote. It still is. You can still take away from it that, hey, DJ Moore wants to be somewhere that he can stay and fill out the rest of his career with. And I'm sure most NFL players think that. I don't think a lot of NFL players go into new deals or go into new situations and just think, man, God, I can't wait to get up out of here, right? Not at least initially. And so DJ Moore having a career year here, we already know about the chemistry he has with Justin Fields, things like that. The fact that he had a meeting with the front office, and, I personally think he did air out some things about Luke Getsy, and then Luke Getsy move on. But when it comes down to it, DJ Moore, a lot's been made about his potential to sign a contract extension with the Chicago Bears, even going so far as with Courtney Cronin like to say that it's not necessarily tied to what they do with Justin or not, but best believe, as boisterous as he has been about Justin Fields, I wouldn't be surprised with that. At least it's something in the back of his mind there, too, being able to build that continuity with a quarterback. And again, that sees how it's going to go. So at the end of the day, I think, if you want DJ Moore to stay here long term, it comes down to one thing: win. That's what it comes down to with everything. Win. Win and build a winning program, build a winning team, get the right coaching staff in place, get the right personnel. Win. That's it. Win football games. Find a way to win football games and make sure that you have a coach and an offensive coordinator in place that understands how to prioritize the talent that you have on this team and get the most out of them. Whatever that talent ends up being as we head towards the 2024 season, win and get the most. Develop this talent. Let's get to a place that we want to be. And so, I hope that ends up coming out with this as well, that DJ Moore does spend the rest of his career as a Chicago Bear, or at least a large part of it. And if that ends up being the case and we have DJ Moore here as somebody who's going to be here for a long term and build that continuity with the quarterback, the other wide receiver core, because hopefully we flesh that out this offseason as well, that could be a fun thing to have and something that we really haven't had in Chicago for quite a while. So let's hope that it ends up being the case. But it's Friday, so it's Mailbag Day. That means this episode is mainly built around your voicemails. And if you didn't get to leave a voicemail, I'll tell you at the end of the show how to get your voicemails in. Let's get into the first one. This one's from JR.
Yo, what up, Hayes? This is your boy JR. I used to live in Chicago. I moved to Arizona, for like 10 years ago. And, I'm still a diehard Bears fan. I was at work today, and me and my coworkers was talking, because, so they really into football. And as far as defensive coordinator, like, what do you think about the Bears trying to get, what's his name, Marvin Lewis back into, coaching as far as the DC? And I just want to, hear your thoughts on that. And tell those guys I said what's up,
Marvin Lewis for defensive coordinator. Here's something that I'll tell you. This is not a name that I've heard or thought about or anything. I can't even deny. I had to go and look up where Marvin Lewis, let's say Marvin Harrison, where Marvin Lewis has been since over his career. And so when you look at it, he went to Arizona State University in 2019. In February 2020, he was promoted to co-defensive coordinator, where I think he's been, according to what I'm able to find, the rest of that time. So Marvin Lewis, though, coming back on as a defensive coordinator, yes, he is one in college. Maybe there's something to be said of that, but I just think that's so far outside the box that nobody's thought about it, probably for a reason. He may be 100% fine where he is. That may be the case right now, that he's just fine where he is, fine what he's doing, and he's completely content in that. Now, he is the special advisor as well right now. It looks like he's moved on from co-defensive coordinator, so he's now special advisor, whatever that means, if he's doing a multitude of things, and there may be some freedom in that. Keep in mind, Marvin Lewis is not a spring chicken. He's 65 years old, and while his kids are older and stuff like that, maybe he's just ready to just be in one place. And I haven't heard the name. I haven't heard any rumblings. Don't even know if he's on the radar for defensive coordinator for the Chicago Bears. But I guess you never know. I mean, keep all options available, I guess. But it's just, that's such an outside the box bring up that I don't think anybody's talked about it. So I really don't have an answer. Not to say that I think he'd be bad at it per se. I think bringing in a veteran, somebody who can also pair with Justin Fields, with Matt Eberflus and another coach that's been a head coach before to help some of that situational awareness and bring in some experience. Yeah, on paper you can do a lot of those things and it could be really good, but I just don't know, because it's just so far out of left field. But great thought process there on JR, and great thinking outside the box as well, brother. All right, let's get into this next one. This one's from Fred.
Hey, Hayes, what up, man? It's your boy Fred, man. It was good, man. Look, I watched that podcast, man, and Jerry Johnson hit it right on the head. He can't do nothing but keep it 100, and we need that. We never had, players that sat here and kept it 100 and called coaches out. And he hit everything on the head, like I've been telling people. This man has not had nothing since he started. He got thrown in the fire. And people not understanding this shit. People keep trying to say, oh, let's trade him. For what? We haven't built around this quarterback. And people not understanding that. So it's just crazy, though. But I don't think we trade Fields, man. Like, I think we go ahead, we draft Marvin Harrison Jr., we get us another left tackle or edge or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Build that line up, give him some more weapons, and get the right coaches for him. Because that's all he needs. Once he gets that, we'll see a different Justin Fields, and people will stop talking shit about this young man. Because people not realizing and seeing that This man never had shit to work with. And I heard a few analysts say this shit, say, well, Chicago is not known for developing quarterbacks. My point exactly. So, like Keyshawn said, like James Johnson said, build around this man, you know, get him some weapons, get the right coaches for him to develop. And if we would see the Justin Fields that we seen at Ohio State, and I don't mind if the Bears bring Ron Rivera back. You know what I'm saying? I'm okay with that because, you know, he's an old school guy and he'll have the defense right. They already got the pieces there. You know what I'm saying? They just need a few pieces. You know, I think that'd be a good fit for these young guys, you know, with an old school D coordinator, whether it's him or Leslie Frazier. Get us somebody who got experience that can put the defense in the right position and who ain't scared to go after quarterback and shit, and they can put, you know, pressure and shit as well. So I'll say, man, I'm glad the Bears is getting after it and going after coordinators that have experience, and I think they need to do this because we never had personnel that done this before, and people not seeing like, hey, you know, it's a change that we actually got people that know what the fuck they're doing, football-minded people. So, yeah, I'm glad they're interviewing everybody. I just hope they get the right coordinator, you know, whether it's Waldron or Kubiak. As long as they get some, you know what I'm saying, they can help Justin Fields and the right quarterback and draft one of them guys to be the quarterback coach as well. I don't see why not. So let me know what you think, man. Chicago up, better out.
Jalen Johnson was right, huh? And here's what I'll say, is that it's good to see players that, like you said, have been here with this team, that have gone through practices, gone through training camp, seen the ups and downs of what's going on. And best believe, as a defender that had to practice against our offense, I'm sure he's seen some of the flaws that we don't see as fans. And so it's good to see players keep backing Justin Fields, and not in just the typical way that players do. I know a lot of people try to paint it as this, well, what do you expect him to say? What do you think he's going to say? He hates Justin? But it's the vitriol and it's the way in depth that a lot of these players are coming out in support of Justin Fields. And as I've said before, when it comes down to it, it's up to this front office to do what's best for the team. That's what's up to the front office. They got to do it. And if they have success, whatever direction they go, if it ends up being successful, that's just what it is. I get what you're saying. I get what a lot of people are saying about don't trade Justin Fields. Build around him. We've never built around a quarterback. There's such ineptitude on the offense from our offensive coordinator that you may seriously want to look at that and say it wasn't just Justin. He has things that he needs to grow on. Absolutely, but it's not just Justin. But I also can understand the front office and saying, hey, listen, if we're going to keep developing, let's go. If we see somebody as being a higher talent than Justin Fields and we think they have a higher ceiling, they may pull the trigger on it. We'll be here to review it either way, right? We're going to cover it either way here at Chicago Bears Central, but we'll see which way they end up going on it. Now, with Ron Rivera, part of it, when I brought that up, a lot of Bears fans have been talking about the potential of it. Some even said, I had a conversation with a guy in the comments who was like, well, what about Lovey? Lovey was this and Lovey was that. But the difference is that Ron Rivera just recently talked about he'd be open to coming back and being a defensive coordinator, not necessarily to the Bears, but he'd be open on going back to being a coordinator. I don't think we've heard that from Lovey Smith per se, but I know a lot of Bears fans hope out for Lovey because of how he helped us get that number 1 overall pick, and they just herald Lovey as this. Like, when it comes down to it, like I said with even the quarterback situation, just make the right decision. Go and get the right guy. And if you get the right guy, that's all that matters, regardless of who the Bears fans want, hope, or think they're going to see as the defensive coordinator. Go out and get the guy that's going to get you the results. Go out and get the guy that's going to help cover up some of Matt Eberflus's shortcomings. Go and get the guy who's going to be a voice in the locker room. Go and get the guy who's going to just get this defense to where Chicago Bears fans are used to and want to see their defense be. And no matter who that is, whether it's Lovey, whether it's Marvin Lewis, whether it's Ron, whoever it is, no matter who it is, go out and get the right guy. And I think that's a very important part of what the Chicago Bears need to be focused on this offseason. All right, let's get into the next voicemail. This one's from K2.
Yo, what up, fellas? It's your boy K2, man. Look, real quick, man, I just want to say something, man, and, I'm going to get right to the point, man. I think everybody knew how I felt about Justin Fields going into the season and how hard I was on him because, he was still kind of developing as a quarterback, man. And, I expected all these expectations out of him, and, it just didn't happen right away, man. But at the end of part of the season, man, he decided to, he finally, started to look a little bit better, man. And that's something you can build on, bro. And I was wrong to have my disposition about him, man, because you know what, man? I think we need to stick with Justin Fields and roll with him no matter what, bro. He's proven to be hardcore mentally, taking on the Chicago media, taking on all the sacks that he did, bro. It's like he built for Chicago, bro. he built for Chicago, and I don't want to no longer believe that he ain't, bro. Like, I had my things where I was like, oh, I think we should just draft another quarterback, Caleb Williams. I'm like, nah, bro. After listening to Jalen Johnson give his take, who's in the locker room with Justin Fields, saying that the coaches need to be held accountable for everything that was going wrong with him, and everybody knows that I was blind to the coaching too, man. I ain't see it, bro. Like, I didn't see, like, I wasn't worried about that. I was just worried, thinking to myself that Justin Fields was going to be able to make it all happen, bro. But, like, he need a coaching staff, especially after seeing what Jordan Love did, CJ Stroud doing, and what Jared Goff is doing in Detroit, bro. Like, they got a good coaching staff, bro. And, like, we need that. We need that. I hope they pull it together with the coaching staff that they going to pull in as far as the offense, man. Like, I feel like they going to make the right choice. Ultimately, it ain't up to any of us, but I feel like and believe that they will make the right choice and keep Justin Fields, regardless if anybody's job is on the line. Because I tell you what, even if they don't draft Caleb Williams and we have another bad season, man, I feel like moving forward, we're doing the right thing by building the team, because we ain't done that in a while. We ain't done ever. Actually, we never built the offense. So now that they're building the offense, bro, like I just want them to stay on that mind frame, bro. Just continue to build the offense, man, and let's just see where it goes, bro. Because I tell you what, Caleb Williams, I don't like what I'm reading about him, bro. I don't like what I'm seeing, all this nail painting and all the stuff that coming out of his mouth, bro. Like, he too California, bro. And if you ask me, he might be a faggot. Excuse my language, but he might be. He ain't built for Chicago, bro. I don't think he is, and I think they gonna make the right decision, bro. But y'all know, have a good weekend. Chicago up, bear down.
Listen, the K2 is one of the people that was a very early detractor of Justin, and I love hearing what you said as far as being built for Chicago, even talking about what went into your doubt, kind of underestimating coaching. And I think that's a lot of Bears fans. And I think when it comes down to it is that a lot of Bears fans sit on this thing with Justin, and because they just want a quarterback that they just can see somebody who's going to be successful here long term. And there are legitimate reasons to have that doubt around Justin Fields. And I can't take that away. And I think a lot of Bears fans also don't understand how important coaching is. You'll see it in the comments of this. You'll see it in the comments of videos on this channel all the time of people who just underestimate. And that's across all sports. It happens on Chicago Bulls Central as well, where people are like, well, Billy Donovan, what do you mean? He's not a bad coach. It is what it is, right? Coaching is a foundational part of where your team can go. It's part of that foundation. Yes, players are a part of that foundation as well. But the job of coordinators and any coach is to bring it all together. And we had a very shortness of that with Luke Getsy. And hopefully with what the Bears do with their offensive coordinator, they make the right decision. And then we're not talking about that anymore. Let's hope that that's the case. But hearing you come around, and it's not necessarily about just coming around to just all of a sudden loving Justin Fields and wanting him to be the QB of the future, but it's just as sports fans, always, all of us, can always sit back and understand of the things that we don't get right? The things that we don't quite understand and grasp as just fans of the team. And I think there's some freeing in there. There's a level of awareness in that we all need. And anybody who thinks they have it all figured out just because they're a fan of the team is probably one of the bigger idiots. This is what it is. And if you take problems with my words, it is what it is. I don't give a shit. Because that's just how, not UK too, I'm talking about people in general. But like, we all as sports fans can understand that we don't have the answers. And while we sit back on this side of things and think, oh no, this guy absolutely sucks, sometimes we're going to be right. Sometimes we're going to be wrong as well, right? But great voicemail from K2. Thank you for leaving that, brother. Let's get into this next one. This one's from Jerome.
Hey, Hayes. This is Jerome from Chicago by way of New Jersey. I had a question. And first of all, I want to thank y'all for all the podcasts y'all put out, because y'all are very informative. And you let everybody knows the good and the bad. And I want to thank y'all and bless all y'all. But I wanted to know, since Justin is still under contract, he has 1 year they can pick up for, I think, 6-9, and the other year they can pick up like 20. If they build around him, put some offensive line help, back up for the offensive line, because injuries do happen, and you trade now, you get 2 number 1 draft picks this year, already you already have. You get 2 next year and maybe 2 the following year. Can't you always look for another quarterback and just work with Justin? Because he is a hell of a player, and he just don't have no help in certain areas, and coaching does help. I just wanted to know, what do you think about that? Bear down. Peace out.
Great voicemail here from Jerome, man. I love what Jerome brought on this one. Could the Bulls always take a quarterback later? Yeah, they absolutely could take a quarterback later. And I think that's a big part in this as well. You can always take a quarterback later down the road, especially if you end up getting a haul for the number one overall for the number one overall pick this season. You're going to get assets that you can use further down the road, abso-freaking-lutely. And so, that's something to also look at in all of this is the fact that it's not done. This isn't the end of anything if you do decide to lock in on Justin Fields and make a decision down the road. And you're getting yourself a whole hell of a lot of future assets. But the thing in all this as well is this front office has to calculate and ask themselves, do they want to risk passing up on some of the players in this draft or the players at the top of this draft if they really truly see them as that generational talent many people talk about them in? And if they don't, then that's how things are going to go. We'll end up seeing. All right, let's get into this next voicemail. This one's from Daryl.
Hey, Hayes, this is Daryl. I got an issue with the front office. I've been hearing that a lot of the leaks were coming down the pike unauthorized. And Kevin Warren hired this Cliff Stein guy. And I believe that it was a divided organization to a certain extent by all these so-called insiders grabbing information from the other part of the Bears organization. And I believe this should be straightened out. I think this affects the morale a tad bit in that building as far as players and the GM. I want to see Warren and Poles take charge and do what they need to do to make this team better. Any comments on that, I would appreciate it, but I'm tired of being played for a sucker with all these Bears insiders reporting from other halves of the organization, and I think that needs to be cleaned up. So that's all I have to say. Keep Justin Fields, and, I'd like to hear your comments. Chicago up, bear down.
All right, so Daryl, here's what I'll say. Leaks are never authorized. And this is just part of sports. Like, I understand you saying they need to get that shored up and things like that. That is part. Where do you think every bit of the writers' articles come from just about? There are leaks in every front office across every major sport. That isn't exclusive to the Chicago Bears. So, saying there are leaks called leaks for a reason. Leaks, some things are leaked out from front office purposely, but a lot aren't authorized, and that's just what it comes by the nature of sports. So I don't get upset with it, and I don't think really this is like an indictment on how good of a job Kevin Warren or Ryan Poles are doing in their job of leading in the front office. I don't think that. It's just part of sports. It just is what it is. And a lot of the leaks can come from like somebody say NFL a Bears exec, then it's the paper boy. Like it's weird things like that. But that's just part of the nature of sports, man. And you kind of just got to take the good with the bad when it comes to that. All right, let's get into the last voicemail for today. This one's from Book.
Yo, Hayes, what's up? This Book, man. Blessings to you and yours. Hopefully, man, you staying warm in this snowy and cold-filled week. But, man, I got to tell you, man, it's a trip, man. Like right now during the off season, I'm listening to a lot of different people, watching a lot of different, podcasts and everything. And I'm not a person that, I don't watch all 22. My feelings on all 22, man. I think that's the worst thing that happened to football because now everybody's a damn QB guru. They know routes and everything now magically all of a sudden. But I'm tripping on the hypocrisy that I'm hearing right now in between all of the quarterbacks. Not just Justin, but for everybody, the ones coming out, the hypocrisy of Caleb and Justin, because I've seen some of the breakdowns that some people have made of Caleb. Now, Caleb is a good quarterback. I'm not saying he's not. He is going to be a good quarterback. Generational, I don't know, but he's good. But they are showing a lot of the same flaws that Justin Fields gets condemned for. And people are making excuses for Caleb. And these are the same people that are crucifying Justin Fields. Caleb holds the ball too long, run around, plays off script because his team is bad. Justin holds the ball too long, scrambles around because he can't see the field, and he is bad. Not taking into account that, the Bears offensive line is not, they're good, they're not great, and they just got good like around week 8 or 9. So it's funny things like that, man, that make me laugh, man, because at the end of the day, I trust Poles no matter which way he go. That I feel that would be the best for the team. But I just want everybody to keep it 100, man. And, you know, everybody always claim they keep it 100, but, man, you could subtract about 75 off that 100. But that's all I wanted to say, man. Chicago up, bear down. Have a good weekend.
Hypocrisy. Oh, man. You hit the nail on the head there. There is a lot of hypocrisy, and I think it comes down to everybody has their own favorites, right? Or their own views on things. And, you know, yeah, it doesn't suck to a degree, but yeah, like I said with the other voicemail, it comes with the nature of sports. You're going to always have fans that they can look at the same data and walk away with two very different opinions on it. And it's just because of their own personal leanings to what they want to see the team do. And that's something that in being on this side of it, doing this job now, that I've come to understand, realize, and kind of embrace in a while. Like, everybody's going to have their own opinions, and it creates really good debates and conversations for people that are open to hear both sides of it. Like I've always said, understanding and agreeing are different things. And so you're not always going to agree with somebody's thought process, but you're going to understand where it's rooted in. Now, that doesn't stop it from maybe being rooted in some foolishness, but you can at least understand where it's coming from. And when it comes down to the excuses and stuff for Caleb, I think it's the fact that he hasn't played in the NFL yet. So the more you play in the NFL and the more some of those same shortcomings are there, you get less and less room for that, rather than a rookie coming in with some of those same shortcomings, but because they are a rookie coming in and you're looking at development, you kind of overlook some of that, right? So I think that's what plays a part into it. I'm not saying whether it's right or wrong. That's not for me to determine, but that's kind of why those things happen. And it's just kind of part of football. That's going to happen all time. We're not going to be the last team to have this debate. It's not. It's going to happen every single year. And, you know, that just kind of comes with the territory. But when it comes down to it, like I said before, it just comes down to Ryan Poles and Kevin Warren making the direction, picking that direction for the team, and then seeing where it's going to go. And hopefully it ends in the results that we want to see, and the Chicago Bears are back winning, and we're in the playoffs, and maybe even going further than that. Let's hope that that's the case regardless of what happens. But great voicemail from Book there. But that's my time, guys. Make sure you guys are following the show at Shy Bears Central. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, ChicagoBearsCentral@gmail.com. Lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-270-2799. We are the number one spot for everything Chicago Bears related, thanks to you guys. And like I like to end every episode on, Chi-Town up, but bear down. Love you guys. Peace, y'all.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.